Welcome back to the Read Reviews podcast, everybody.
Hello.
New year, same exact podcast. We did take a little bit of a hiatus. Cody, what was your excuse? You had family in for 3 fucking weeks, it seems like.
No, just a week. But yeah, I had my sister and brother and both their significant others, and then my nephew.
How was that?
It was good. It's good to see them.
Stayed busy. Did they end up winning any money at the casino?
Oh yeah. When we showed up, I was me, my dad, brother, and brother-in-law. We were probably the last people to show up, and then within 5 minutes of me finding everyone and sitting at a table, they came back to me and were like, "Oh, Alex, my brother-in-law, they're like, he already hit a jackpot on a slot."
A jackpot on a slot?
He's
for
like,
how much?
Like $650 at least.
Damn.
I was like, "What? We just got here." They're like, "Yeah, now we're going to the craps table." It's like, "Oh, all right, sweet." And then found Chandler.
Just bowling with Chandler.
Yeah, just over at the craps table, hamming it up, and hung out there for a little bit. But
Chandler's an absolute menace.
Yeah, it was a good time. I got to see everyone. Mainly got to see my nephew and hang out with him.
I love that we're all having our late 20s addiction. Well, not you and me, I guess, but our late 20s addiction to gambling. Matt goes gambling one time, and now he hasn't gone in a couple weeks now, but he went like 3 or 4 weekends in a row or something like that, or 3 or 4 times in a row or something. It was a little too much.
I don't have that mindset. I can't like it. My brain does not like being in a casino. I can tell. Like
so stanky.
I put money down. I put $100 down, lost it all. But I had extra money from just like cash from the holidays and stuff. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, screw it, I'll play. But I've never been the type to be there. I also helped a lot of people at my old job, specifically at the branch that's out there on the corner as a teller.
Down the fucking street.
It was the haven for like, oh, your 5th time back today to get more cash out of your account.
Oh, they come down to the bank to get cash? They don't even do it at the ATM to save their $3, but they're losing $250 every time they...
It's a weird... I don't know how their brain works. They give themselves outs everywhere else other than the gaping hole in their account that is just getting larger and larger. But they're like, but I came here to save on my ATM fees. And
like
I won 3 weeks ago, I won 10 grand. So I'm technically still up from that. It's just
boy.
I guess, whatever.
Always chasing that high, man.
Yeah.
Gambling is dangerous.
It's just not for me. I like working for my money and having my money in my pocket the way it needs to be.
It was so funny because I got I don't want to call it addicted, I guess, because when I was 18, when we were all turning 18 in our senior year of high school, we were going to Lilac Lanes and just ripping that place apart. But we're 18, so we got $20. So we get $20 and win a little bit and go there like every day of the week, and then you end up losing. You're like, well, I don't have any money until I get like a fucking allowance or something, or from a little bit of money from your job that you might be working. And so we went hard like for like senior year and then like freshman year of college. We were at Lilac Lanes all the time, and then since then I go maybe a few times a year.
I've played a few hands at Lilac, nothing crazy, but yeah, that's because you can play when you're 18 there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's the only reason. It's one of the few places other than Coeur d'Alene Casino, I think, is 18.
You could do it Coeur d'Alene.
Not going out there when Lilac's 10 minutes away. So, yeah, I've played a few hands there. I've noticed I don't like doing it. I get a bad taste in my mouth at the end of it when I'm like, I have fun playing. That's like, I still enjoy playing the card games and actually doing it. And if I have expendable cash, I'll play along. But I'm never like the guy that's like, I'm needing to go to the casino. Yeah, I just don't need to.
It's fun, and if you pay for your drinks, it's fun. And if you pay for your drinks with your chips, like you're like, oh, I didn't lose $100. I spent $40 on drinks or whatever.
And technically,
or you win money.
Technically, I did pay for at least I think most of my drinks with chips at the time, and then
makes you feel a little
lost
bit better.
It all. But it's like, yeah, I did actually. I still did use some of it eventually. It wasn't all gone and all pointless.
Makes you feel a little bit better about the shit.
Yeah.
What else did you guys do over the break? I honestly didn't do too much.
Yeah, we were not doing a ton just because of the 3-year-old in the house can only do so much.
Fucking kids.
And has to be like in bed by a certain time. But I went out one night. Actually, one of the things has to do with our podcast here. And it's like we actually went and saw a movie, but I saw Nosferatu. I don't know if I want to talk about it just yet or keep talking about plans,
about it.
But
dude, we'll go in and out. We can jump right into Nosferatu.
Because in the end, that's like the main thing I have to talk about. It's like the only thing I have to talk about. But
yeah, I honestly didn't watch too much.
Yeah,
I was pretty busy, like with the new job and then just doing holiday stuff. It's not like we went to the movies as one of our activities. So I didn't have time to like sit down and watch anything.
I also I had to watch probably at least 20 times Monsters Inc.
Nice. That's what the kid likes. Monsters Inc. Huh? Not Monsters University.
No,
just Monsters Inc.
Or Inc. is what he always says. He can't really say it, but he's getting there, and he loves that movie. He absolutely loves it. But
great movie.
Nosferatu I went and saw with like all of us like kids, quote unquote. But me, my brother, sister, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and a friend of just friends, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We went and saw Nosferatu at the Northtown Mall, weirdly enough.
Oh, Northtown Mall.
Yeah.
Do they still not have recline? Wait, no.
Yeah, they do. They
Village
have
Center Cinemas doesn't have.
Yeah, Wandermere does not, which sucks. If they did, I'd go there all the time now.
Yeah.
But went to Northtown just because it was closer. But went out for dinner and stuff. And but the movie itself, I love Robert Eggers as the director. He did The Witch, The Lighthouse, The Northman. And
he's that guy.
Yeah, and this is his first first movie without "the" in the title, but they're all very like very true to the time period. Like he is hardcore heavy on details. Like you watch The Lighthouse, it's just two dudes on an island on a lighthouse, but like they built the whole set very to scale and like he went through the effort of like using specifically nails to hammer everything together that are old from that time period. And it's like, dude, okay.
This is so extra.
Like everything is that in depth, but Nosferatu is like the epitome of gothic horror. I think it's kind of like the original Nosferatu is probably a huge inspiration for what gothic horror modernized is. Like,
have you seen it?
Not like actually.
It's like a 1930s movie, isn't it? Like it's old as fuck.
Old.
I know the pictures of the dude with his fucking.
Yeah, it looks weird as fuck, and I only like thank God for SpongeBob. That's like the only way I would actually know what Nosferatu is.
Really?
Is from that like that intro to like what is this? As a kid, I was always like, who is this? Am I supposed to know who this is?
I don't know.
I don't know who it is, but
I've only just recently kind of figured out what it is.
Yeah, but I loved the movie. It is very spooky and creepy and atmospheric. Like it's a vibe, quote unquote.
Isn't Nosferatu? Isn't he a Skarsgård?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the dude who plays It, the clown in It.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
I can never manage all their names because there's so many of them.
Well,
it's not Bill.
It is Bill.
Oh, this
is Bill Skarsgård, who is the clown from It, and now Count Orlok in this. But then Alex Skarsgård, his brother, who you've also seen in stuff probably, he was the Northman.
Oh shit! Oh, okay, that's right.
He was like, he's the main character. Yeah, he was the main character. I'm like, oh, now we're just using all the Skarsgård. I love them. They're all.
Who's the dad? The older guy.
Stellan Skarsgård.
He's Stellan.
Baron.
What a dope ass.
That's Baron Harkonnen.
Yeah, he's Baron. He's done a lot of cool roles. He was in not Rogue One.
He's in Andor.
Yeah, Andor, which he was fucking awesome in. He's also in the Marvel movies, which is kind of funny. He's like the crazy old scientist.
He's
professor
in the
dude.
Thor ones.
He's in. He's in.
No, I'm thinking of a different guy.
No, he's in two of the Thor ones, and he's in Avengers, and I think he might be in a couple of other ones. But yeah, I'm like, oh, this dude's dope.
Yeah.
They're all fucking awesome.
Yeah, and I'll say this about Bill Skarsgård. When you watch it, yes, you can't like you're watching
Georgie,
and you're like, oh, to me you can tell it's like it's creepy and scary, but you can see it's a guy dressed up as a clown, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah, but there's times where like
they get wild
right.
with it, but this movie does the perfect job of never fully giving you a clear picture of what this guy looks like.
Good.
Maybe other than like they do quick like I think there might be one time I remember, and it's honestly used as a jump scare. Out of nowhere, the screen flashes with his face, and it's really loud, and it's like jarring because it's on just long
fucking
enough.
Jump scares.
It's on long enough for your brain to be like, holy shit, I just saw something really scary looking, but I can't even put it together in my head. It was so quick. But you know it was him, and you cannot tell that this is Bill Skarsgård.
Are we on a Penguin level?
Dude, it is. I mean, the character itself is just like evil and death incarnate, pretty much. Like he's
a vampire, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's taken even crazier, I'd say. Like he's more than just a vampire.
He's not Dracula?
So this Nosferatu.
Yeah, give me the rundown because I don't know shit.
If I can get this right, I could be totally wrong, but I think
perfect. Let's be perfectly wrong.
Yeah, let's be wrong all the way. I think it's Nosferatu is Dracula, but they weren't allowed to call it Dracula because that was originally a book, and that had like copyright probably on it
in the fucking 30s.
Probably, I would still. Someone's making money somewhere.
Greedy
Someone.
Bitches.
So they made Nosferatu, which is just an offshoot of Dracula, and it's just it's different names. It is Dracula. Okay. And I don't even know if I think Nosferatu might be his like mythological vampire name because the dude is Count Orlok. He does have like a name that people call him by.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's Count Orlok. And other than that, one time do they say Nosferatu, and it's Willem Dafoe's character, and he's like talking about like the origins and like what's going on. He's like, Nosferatu. We are encountering the vampire. Nosferatu.
That was a good accent.
And I was like, whoa, that was sick sounding. But
is that like Slavic? What is that?
Dude, you gotta watch it to hear Bill Skarsgård. So everyone else talks pretty like just old Englishy kind of, but you can understand it all. It's not like so old English like actually you don't know what they're saying. When does it take place? Probably like the 1800s or early 1900s, maybe. Okay. Could be totally wrong, but Count Orlok and Bill Skarsgård, he talks, and I don't know if that's talks. Okay. It can't be just his straight up voice. There has to be other stuff on it. But holy shit, is his whatever voice, the accent they've given him, and just the way he talks, it is like every single word coming out. I was like, I want more. This guy is just like, this is it. This is everything I want out of like a scary guy. Like.
Does it sound more than human? Does it sound like supernatural?
Oh, dude, it's like it's all over. Like sometimes it's building. Sometimes he's like getting angry, and you're like, oh my fucking god, stop pissing him off.
Is he gonna get some Dune powers and say stuff, control people?
He's just this full embodiment of like. As soon as he enters the movie, you are like, holy fuck, this dude is scary. And then. I didn't expect the story to hit on so many really uncomfortable moments. And I don't want to say more because it would give away plot. And is it short? No. It's actually, I think, over 2 hours, maybe.
Really?
Yeah. And it's just one of those, the less I say, the better. I really only want to give praise to it to be like, go see it. It's definitely not for everyone. Robert Eggers movies are not for everyone.
I don't know if I've seen any of them. So there's The Lighthouse, The Witch. What are the other ones?
And The Northman.
I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah, this is his fourth movie. So I remember me and Reese saw The Witch when it first came out.
I've heard The Witch is gnarly.
Love The Witch.
Yeah. Well, I've heard you talk about it. And The Lighthouse.
I think that came out in like 2015 maybe. And
was that his
maybe
first
2014. One? Yeah, his first movie. And for someone's first movie, I think it just shows now that we've gone by 10 years and he's still making really good stuff. You go back, you're like, this was this guy's first movie. He seems like a pro, like he's done this.
So is he younger? He's pretty
young.
Yeah.
He's got to be in his 30s, maybe 40.
Oh, shit.
Maybe 40. Shit. If you saw him, you'd be like, he is young, very young. So he's got this just crazy imagination about like really dedicated period piece. Like The Witch is super old English. It's about like a Puritan colony that kicks out a family. And it's about them living on their own, and this witch encounter happens, and it's kind of just watching this family destroy itself from the inside out.
God, those are the worst.
With like lies, twisting of words, just family drama, and it's
kind of like Hereditary.
It's the evil within kind of idea, where it's like, yeah, there is a witch.
People are poking them and pushing them.
There's a witch, and there is something bad, but she's only in it for like 5 seconds.
Really?
And does like one thing.
I would never guess that.
And it sets off the whole series of events of just watch. Like from that moment, it's every member of the family for themselves, especially the daughter. That was Anya Taylor-Joy's like first movie, I think. She's young in that.
Wow.
Yeah, really young. And so I just love everything he's done with his movies where they're a slow burn, not a lot of action. But when the things that need to hit are like hitting, I don't need action when like Nosferatu's like, there is no action really at all. There's maybe a couple scenes of like, holy shit, that was crazy. But other than that, it is a like sitting in this like living nightmare kind of a feel. That's like, I think the whole movie is from the time the main guy meets Count Orlok, it's like everything gets very mysterious.
I don't want to ask too much about it because I'm definitely going to try to watch it because I'm pretty sure Jeremy Jahns had this as his number one movie.
Dude, it's so good. Like, I give it a 9 out of 10 on a first watch.
Holy shit. That's pretty damn good.
Pretty easily. Yeah. And it's like, I think more watches, I think could help bump it. But I think just it's doing what that movie wants to, like convey on screen, it's doing perfectly, pretty much. Like there may be only a couple parts, or like the middle at times was like a lot of talking sometimes, but I still really like these characters and I like where it's going. And I think once more things like seeds had to be planted in order for better things to happen later to have more of a punch and an impact.
It's not set up for no sequel shit.
No, this is not this is one and done.
From what you're saying, it doesn't seem like Edgar Wright's kind of that kind of dude.
Yeah, this guy just makes what he wants to make.
Bangers.
Like The Witch is a kind of scary, I don't know, still psychological thriller, I'd almost say. The Lighthouse, very psychological thriller, and just about two dudes going crazy.
Northman
the Northman's
seems more like action.
Definitely action oriented out of all of them. You definitely are going to get actual like battle scenes, fights. It is very mythologically based in Norse mythology and the Vikings, so it's like very.
But it's not supernatural, is it?
It definitely starts getting crazy.
Really? I've seen the one clip of what's the Skarsgård in that one?
Alex.
I've seen the clip of him like full on raging out with his battle axes, and I've seen like a 2-minute clip of him just fucking people up in a village. I think at the end of the movie. And it made me want to watch it, but I just kind of forgot.
Robert Eggers movies definitely always have an air of like supernatural, I'd actually say. Like all of them. There's something like on purpose, it's treading a line of like, is this real or is this not? At all times to kind of fuck with you. And I love it.
It sounds fucking
like
awesome.
I love The Lighthouse. Yeah, you've heard me rave about The Lighthouse. I just think it's like, there's not a bad moment in The Lighthouse. That one's a shorter one, I think.
It's gotta be if it's just two people in the lighthouse.
Like, yeah, there's not a ton you can do with it, but what is done with the time, it's still an hour 50.
Damn.
It's like impressive to be like, I just watched Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe for an hour, almost 2 hours.
And it's Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe.
Dude, and they are
I think
so
Robert
good.
Pattinson is a super underrated actor.
This one, I was already kind of like, I really like Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
But after I saw this, it like solidified. I was like, this dude is so good.
He's got that forever Twilight taint over him.
Yeah, and I think we should be out of it. I think there's still people out there, so. But most often than not, like he's done enough. And I think Batman is his biggest like pull away from everything else right now to be like, I am doing so many different things. Dude, and to think, I think they just said the next Batman movie is slated for 26 or 7.
26 for sure, at least.
When did the first one come out?
20? No.
But like, it's like a 5 or 6 year gap in between these, I think.
Yeah, and then it's just the Penguin.
That's a long
and the
gap.
Penguin isn't like attached to it, basically. It's in the same world.
That's a long gap in between. And I think like Robert Pattinson's in his like 40s now. Getting there. Or like pushing.
He probably is.
Which is, I just heard that the other day and was like, oh, damn. It's weird. I still, in my head, I'm like, oh, kind of like teen heartthrob, like vampire style Robert Pattinson. But in the end, I'm like, it's been like 15 years since then, at least.
I think the original Twilight came out in 2007, so it's almost 20 years.
So it's like, and he had to have been in his 20s easily. In
he wasn't 17. That's
mid
for damn
20s,
sure.
I'd say, like early to mid 20s. So yeah, the dude's probably pushing 40, if not 40.
Yeah,
it's like
you can't cast actual teenagers.
Holy shit, that's like a wild like revelation all of a sudden. Where I'm like, oh.
He was great. He was great in Tenet too. I think that everything he's in, he is really good in. Like
he was crazy.
Except for Twilight. Twilight is horrible.
He was crazy in is it The King? The Timothy
I didn't see
Chalamet
it.
one.
I saw a clip of that recently.
Yeah,
but it seems like he's fucking awesome.
Wild accent and insane, like and just character wise, crazy different. I think that's what I've seen a lot of movies with Robert Pattinson where I'm like, he's done a lot. He's done like funny. He's done very dramatic. He's done super dark. He's done some stuff that's like pretty kooky and out there. But
I don't know why, but I kind of compare him to Zac Efron, and he's like the better Zac Efron. Zac Efron actually does have range. He can do drama. Yeah. He can do comedy. He has range, but he's not like on the level of Robert Pattinson, who to me seems like he is great, and Zac Efron's like good. Like Zac Efron can do stuff. Robert Pattinson, because they both started from like cringy, I'll say Disney. I know Twilight isn't Disney, but like it gives me Disney vibes because it's just of how big of a culture it was.
The pretty boy.
Yeah. Because they're probably like the same age. They're probably both like 40. They're both like the pretty boys. And they both were coming up at the same time and started by doing some cringy bullshit and then did some better stuff. And Robert Pattinson just went in like the great path, and Zac Efron went on like that's good. Like he did like 17 again. He did like The Neighbors.
Go watch I don't think I'll ever need to watch it again. But The Iron Claw.
I need to watch that fucking movie.
It's just it's a draining movie.
I know.
By the end,
God damn it! We've already said so many movies that I need to write down that I want to watch. So all of the Edgar Wright movies, the Iron Claw, Robert Eggers. Sorry, who's Edgar Wright?
Edgar Wright does. Is that the Baby Driver guy? Or
Robert Eggers and Edgar Wright. That's gonna fuck me up. I'm gonna mess that up.
Either way.
But so and then The King. I want to watch that too. I need. God, man.
It is Baby Driver, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, all the Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Yeah. But yeah, Robert Eggers, one of my favorite directors right now, easily. He's doing like that. That's where I love Dune. Yeah. I love all of Dune, but this movie is in my mind like just as good, and it's so different.
Way different. Yeah.
It's so much smaller in scale on purpose for good reason. It needs to be. This is such a solely focused singular story with a few characters that are key parts, and you're really needing to sell the main thing, Nosferatu, like Count Orlok being evil. It's done so well that I can't even, I don't know, like so many different things that I like in so many different movies, but I have to I'm glad that this year gave me both of these because they're two very good movies that I'll look back on. Like,
God, it was Dune last year. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Beginning like February last year.
It was like, March, maybe. I think.
March?
I think it was March.
That's wild.
Then, yeah, and even thinking back to like, what other movies did I see last year? I don't know. Not many.
Yeah, it kind of dove off. Like when we first started the podcast, I was seeing stuff like every week. It kind of naturally was, and then it kind of like took a dive. And then especially over the break, like I said, I didn't watch too much. But I don't know. That sounds awesome. I really want to watch them, and I want to watch all of those now. Now I've literally just got like 6 movies that I want to watch now. So it's just
if I can they're pretty easy. Easy watches. You can get through all of Robert Eggers' movies in a short amount of time because he only has 4, one of which is still in theaters.
So what was that King movie? I remember seeing that.
That was a Netflix movie.
Oh, it was a Netflix movie. Yeah. Okay. Do you know who directed it?
No, I don't even hardly remember anything about it other than being like, oh, I like Timothy Chalamet and I like Robert Pattinson.
I'm loving Timothy Chalamet just becoming a bro now. He's just on everybody's podcast. He knows all this shit about sports and like everybody loves him. He's becoming the new thing.
I wonder what it's like to be. I mean, he's been in so many movies. He did the Bob Dylan movie. He did Dune. Dude's just like constantly in all the podcasts and stuff right now.
Yeah.
Is he dating Kylie?
He was in Wonka.
Dating Kylie Jenner.
Probably. I don't know. Everybody's dating Kylie. Everybody's dating the Kardashians. I don't know.
Dude's living the dream.
He is. Yeah. He's a good looking, skinny motherfucker. And he's just killing it. Like it's always nice to be, because you can be an actor, rich and famous. That's cool. Being famous would suck. But if you're like rich and famous, but like you're The Rock, who's known for just doing ass and shitty movies and like not a great actor, that's always tough. But if you're all of that and then you're like a great actor and doing stuff like Dune and then having the range to do something like Wonka, which I really love too, like that is the dream. That's the goal.
I think that's part of some of the nice guys aren't gonna get those roles. I think too.
No,
like that's kind of the point. But at the same time, it's probably why there are so many of the stories that you hear about, like, ooh, so-and-so was actually an asshole. And you're like, well.
Vin Diesel.
Yeah, probably, maybe. I don't know.
Although he's not, like, a great actor.
And it sucks, too, because, like, in this day and age, more than any, it's just latching onto the one bad thing and making that the entire person.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've had days where I said something at work or I said something to a loved one or a friend, and I immediately went, yikes, should not have said that. Oof. Went a little emotional, got a little crazy, said it. It's like, I really hate the whole, like, I get it with Me Too stuff, and if it's real allegations and like things like that is a different story. But when it comes to some of this other shit where you're just like, who fucking cares?
People like to make things dramatic. That's what gets clicks, man. That's what I was just talking about with Blair. But I could go into, so I watched 2 things, I guess. The bigger thing is Transformers 1, and then I watched Secret Level. I didn't finish all of Secret Level.
I watched some of it though.
You did? Yeah. Which ones did you watch? I watched the first 8 of them, I think. Also, there's more of them than I thought there would be. I thought there'd be 10. I think there's 15.
Yeah, so I watched.
Did you watch the Pac-Man one?
Yeah,
dude, the Pac-Man one was
very weird.
I had no idea what it was until the end because I didn't read the titles. I was like trying to kind of avoid it so that when I got into that, I could just be like, whatever. And then I saw the title. I was like, oh my God, it's fucking Pac-Man. And did you see the trailer for the Pac-Man game that's coming out too?
No.
It's like, I wonder if they directly correlated it with the secret level thing because they're making a Pac-Man game that is like the theme of that episode in there.
I don't know what that
it was. Exactly. It was so weird. Like, I don't even know how you make a story out of that.
I've watched it with my brother. One of the nights we were the only, like the last two people up, and I just was like looking through stuff. I was like, oh yeah, we have Amazon Prime on the TV. I can watch the secret level. Oh, and they're pretty short episodes. Easy. You can just kind of glide through them. We started on the Warhammer one.
Yep.
That one was dope.
Which apparently is the best one, and it was fucking sick.
It was dope. We watched the Pac-Man one, which, we both saw it was Pac-Man, and we're like, what could this be about?
Because you see the pictures and, like, the clips. Or, like,
and it kept going, and we were just like, what is fucking happening? Like, literally, what is going on? And then it just ends, and it was like...
Just repeat the cycle.
Did I just watch an origin story for Pac-Man? Like... Did I not realize there was an origin story for Pac-Man?
It was so gory.
I just couldn't believe we had a story to tell for Pac-Man. I think that just kind of blew my mind.
So if you don't know what it is, basically what happens is that there's this little orb that kind of talks to a guy that just, it seems like he's in a cloning center and he just kind of comes out of this little tube, almost like he comes out of the Matrix or something, like Neo in there. Like he comes out of this fucking thing. And then the little Pac-Man orb is just trying to get him to eat the whole time. And then they go up and end up fighting this big giant monster thing, which I guess is supposed to be like the ghost. And the Pac-Man like goes into the guy, and then they kill the monster ghost thing, and then the guy dies, and then the Pac-Man just starts talking about eating again, and then it restarts the cycle. It was very fucking weird. It was like if you know, everybody knows what Pac-Man is, but like if you think of Pac-Man, like this is so, I can't even think of something that's more like just completely different than what the source material is. Like it's so insane.
Because
like
the source material is just a fucking...
It's just a little yellow ball.
It's a game that never was made to have a fucking point.
No, yeah, it's just you just eat the ghost, you eat the little balls, you get the high score. And now they got this weird fucking... And the animation of all of them is so cool. Mm-hmm. It all looks really amazing. The Warhammer one was super cool too. I'm kind of a sucker for stuff where it's like just showing super OP whatever motherfuckers fucking shit up, and then they get just overpowered, like they are helpless to a next thing. I love that stuff. I just love seeing power dynamics between things. And then I think that what happens is just like the dude overcomes whatever the weird evil thing is at the end, just mentally or something, and then kills her.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah. It's always kind of hard to tell without the context, but the glowing blood and like them walking down the dark cavern with the blood on their feet, and then the chainsaws, and just seeing how they fuck shit up and seeing how these big giant bulky marine dudes move like kind of Gears of War characters.
Yeah.
The Warhammer universe is something that I want to be interested in or want to get involved in and learn about and dive into, but it seems so overwhelming and I don't know how.
I'm leaving it to Henry Cavill. He is the guy. Henry Cavill is like he is at the helm of putting Warhammer on the like movie screen. That's his next big project, and he is the one like fronting everything. Like a producer? No, he'll probably star in it, but he is like The Witcher was. Like when he's like, "Hey, if The Witcher doesn't follow like source material, I'm gonna leave." Look what happened. He left, and he's now after that happened, he was like, "You know what? Screw this." I paraphrasing and kind of articles read, but the idea was like, "Screw that. I'm not gonna go to some other company. I'm going to be the guy that's like, who wants to take my Warhammer movie? I'm going to do it. Or my Warhammer thing. I'm going to do it." Because he's like, that's his biggest nerdy thing is Warhammer. I know he's a super loves nerd. Warhammer. He knows like all about it. It's like his diehard passion. So if anyone's going to helm something, it's Henry Cavill. Give it to the man. And I will let him, like, I'm in your boat. I'm interested. Give me something now I think he's the guy to be like, how do we make this more palatable for a wider audience? It's such an insane, overwhelming universe to try to dive into, and like with the game and with the like card, because it's a card game, right? It's a card game, and it's got comics, and it's got some shows. I don't think it's really a video game. Card game as much as it is like
maybe not.
Like there's like
board
there's
game.
horde based like shooter games, but they have multiple versions where there's like the actual
exactly
Warhammer dudes in the big suits, but then
Yeah.
there's Warhammer Vermintide, which is like
the
swords and
the
shields.
Velociraptors and
That's
shit,
like
too.
swords and shields and shit, and like fighting rats and stuff, like giant rats in old
So-
Victorian era.
That's what I'm saying. It's so convoluted and crazy and,
And
insane. And I've-
people definitely know. They're like, oh, the lore here, and blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, this has been described in all these things. I'm like,
It's one of
I
those
don't
things where it was even hard for me to dive in on YouTube because like I just don't really know where the starting point is and like how to get me
I don't know.
into this because even the couple of videos that I watched, I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is insane. It's like Dune, it's like Dune on fucking steroids because there's like
Yeah.
different universes and Dune is really crazy with the lore and how big and expansive it is and how it's 10,000 years in the future and the thing with all the robots and the wars and stuff and like it's very convoluted, but you can kind of get an idea of it. Warhammer, when I tried to dive into it, there's like different universes and different people fighting in different time frames and all this stuff going on. So that just
Yeah.
makes it infinitely more.
I think it's something like Dune makes sense. It's a story based where like it started as a story and then the world grew from there. I feel like Warhammer feels like it started as a world and then they had to make a story out of
Yeah.
it, right? Like
It does feel like that, yeah.
That's what you go on YouTube and you're like, how? Like where do I? And it's just like, here's everything possible. You're like, there needs to be
Everything's
a way,
just happening at once.
Yeah, there needs to be a way to compartmentalize this and make it a little easier for me to start and like get into.
So there's like the Warhammer like tabletop games because I remember I convinced my
Yeah.
dad to buy me one like way back in the day and he's like you shouldn't buy it because I was probably like 8. He's like you don't want this game, Reed, you don't understand what this is,
Never
blah blah
gonna
blah,
play
and
it.
like yeah, you're never gonna play it, you're not gonna do all the work, and it's like D&D where you get little figurines and you have to paint them
Yeah.
and like figure it out. Like it's not like structured like normal. Like if you're playing just a normal board game or like
Where
fucking
there's-
Monopoly or
yeah.
Risk or something, and that's kind of what I thought it was because when I was a little kid I loved Risk, so because I loved all the little figurines and making battles and playing around with them. I kind of played with them like Legos actually. It's pretty dope. But so I got Warhammer because of that, and I like kind of tried to paint one, and then never. Then my dad painted one, and then never did anything with it. And that was like my introduction to it because there were fucking Velociraptors with like guns on the side of them, and I was like, "This is sick, let's go, baby!" And so that was like my introduction to it, but never dove in any further than that. And so watching this, pretty fucking sick. If you can, kind of like with League of Legends and how expansive and ridiculous and insane that universe is, and what they did with Arcane was starting it with like the most grounded part of the League universe because the League lore is fucking dumb as hell and so hard to understand. But Piltover and like what happens in that show is like probably the most grounded, like real. Not as much magic, even though they ended up diving into that more in the second season. But it's more grounded, like real people.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like if they made something like the Space Marines into a movie, whatever Henry Cavill ends up doing, that would be a good like jumping on point for
Yeah.
that. Start with the more grounded people because it seems like it's fucking batshit crazy.
Well, not everyone. I think the most iconic thing is like the dudes in the big suits. So putting those things on
Yeah,
screen for
Space
more people
Marines.
to see and have an idea of like, what is this past just seeing the dudes in the suits? Because that's all I really know is that aspect. Guys are in big suits.
Yeah,
Past that, I straight up have no clue why. I don't know what they fight. I don't know what they fight for.
because they fight so many things.
Yeah, it seems like none of it's ever been explained. And I could have done some of the work myself, but
Like I said, it's hard to do the work yourself because it's so
well,
in depth.
makes sense too. Maybe why there's never been any Warhammer stuff is like it's really hard to
Yeah.
adapt, and probably Henry Cavill's the only one willing to be like, "There's a way to do it. You just
He's
need,
got the pull and the knowledge.
you need to be like a really big nerd to probably be able to like funnel it into here's a tellable story within this universe that we can do."
Here's something to talk about, which I think came out during the winter break, like in between the time we did the last podcast. Hopefully you watched it. What did you think about the Superman trailer? Did you watch that?
I did watch
James
that.
Gunn. So introduction finally to James Gunn's DCU and everything that's starting.
Yeah.
The Superman trailer came out. What did you think about it?
It looked fine. I don't
Okay.
I'm probably not the guy because I'm not the superhero guy, so I don't
Yeah.
know any of the crazy. I don't know anything about Superman past his name. His weakness is kryptonite, and
Do you know where he comes from?
Yes. Give me a second.
just said it.
Yeah, Is it Krypton?
Yeah.
Okay. And like Lex Luthor is one of his enemies. Ish, like kind of could be maybe I don't even know.
Really? Okay.
Some of the like I only say it because I grew up with my mom and sisters watching Smallville.
Yeah. My dad watched the shit out of Smallville.
And it's like
Smallville is a weird adaptation.
they attempt.
It's cool.
They
but it's-
attempt like the real world version of
Yeah.
like doing that, and so either way, I know very basic stuff. Like, obviously, when the dog came in, I was like, oh, it's Crypto. I know that's Crypto, the super dog.
That, yeah.
But
what do you think about Crypto being in it? Do you think that's too cheesy? Do you think it's weird? Do you think it's dumb? Do you think it's cool? Do you think it's a good diversion from what it was? Do you even have an opinion?
Yeah, I don't really think I care as much. I don't think it's bad, I guess, is one thing. When I saw it, I wasn't like, what the fuck? Like, that wasn't my gut reaction. My gut reaction was probably like, oh, cool. They're doing like I liked how they showed him coming in where he like, well, the intro being Superman's like fucked up.
Yeah, that's a good start to show Superman can get hurt.
Yeah, like
thank God
he's fucked up, and not only that, he has to call on Crypto to basically save his life.
Yeah,
but the like shot of just it looks like a train.
Yeah, I know.
coming to him in the snow.
I was like, good, we got some James Gunn bullshit.
But that's good. That's how it should be. I think that made me happy to see. Like, I like that.
That's a good way to diversify it from the original, not original, but like the Snyderverse. It's a lot more brighter. It's a lot different color.
Yeah, the color palette alone is just like James Gunn in my head, where like he did Guardians, right?
Yep.
He definitely has the largest color palette out of many.
The Guardians movies are fucking beautiful in the colors that they have in them. And
that was something I noticed. I was like, dang, the like contrast on colors pops. Like they are really making these colors show.
Yeah, and the suit was a big point of controversy too, because it's like more clothy looking. It's not like it doesn't look like it's some advanced alien tech like morph suit that you wear, like insane stuff.
I feel like that's where it would get into. I don't even know. Does Superman have a suit that comes from Krypton that's like made for him? Is he supposed to also maybe have a suit that his adopted mom made on Earth? Would that be a thing? Is that like?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's comics, so probably anything you say, probably has happened because Superman's been around since like the fucking 40s or 50s.
That's kind of what I think too. Is so many of these movies could be like, well, it's been like he's done everything in any comic.
Yeah,
like we could just take the version we want.
So. I thought that this trailer was one of the most exciting superhero things I've seen since Endgame stuff. I thought it was really fucking cool. I'm excited that it's different. I like that it's brighter. There's a different vibe. I like that the Crypto's just rolling up on him. I like that Superman gets fucking hurt and you can see that he's not just like totally invincible, like because that just always makes it harder to play a story around it. Because then you always have to be. Damsel of distress has to be the story of Superman. It's like it's always protecting people, which is like Superman's thing. That's like
Lois Lane. Is that?
Lois Lane. So it's always damsel in distress or like helping the people, and you have to threaten people to actually hurt Superman or get kryptonite. But I like the idea of maybe they use kryptonite to fuck him up. I guess we don't know. But I like the idea of him fighting somebody that's maybe more powerful and actually fucking him up.
Isn't it? Nicholas Hoult is Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Nosferatu.
That's huge. That's gonna be awesome.
I really have grown to really love Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult is another one where it's like this guy is fucking awesome and he has range. He can do comedy, he can do drama, he can do action. Him in that stupid Nicolas Cage Dracula movie, whatever it was called. That movie was actually awesome.
Which is
loved
funny
that
enough. That character is technically in Nosferatu.
What's it called? What's he called?
Renfrey.
Renfield.
Yeah. Sure. I don't even know because they changed the names. In Dracula, he has like a right-hand man assistant.
Yeah.
Renfield.
He eats the bugs.
And in Nosferatu, there is a guy that is kind of his right-hand man at a point doing things for him. Not with that name, but at the same time I was watching, I was like, that's that character Nicholas Hoult played. Now he's just playing a different character.
That's always a trip.
On top of it, Willem Dafoe played, this is trippy. There's a movie where Willem Dafoe is playing the guy who played Count Orlok. So the movie's about the making of the original Nosferatu. So Willem Dafoe, who's a different character in this Nosferatu, was actually Count Orlok in another different Nosferatu making of movie. It's really weird.
That's a lot of fourth wall and like metaverse
Either
breaking.
Way,
and like,
Nicholas Hoult and both Willem Dafoe have been in like multiple vampire movies dealing with that exact thing. It's just funny to have both of them be in the serious version now too. So I love Nicholas Hoult.
That's another thing. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, I think is fucking awesome. I think that's a great choice. The clip of him saving the kid and like the slow-mo of him diving around her and like blocking her from the because I think there's like the kaiju, because there's a kaiju at the end of it. I think it's the kaiju foot that stomps down.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
That's one of the biggest things that people are worried about. It seems like they're just dumping a shit ton of stuff into this movie.
Like, what is that?
There's Hawk Girl, there's the kaiju, there's the Lantern Corps, like there's all this stuff that's in it, and we're like, okay, If anybody could do it, I think that James Gunn could be doing it, and maybe it's just like a really small part of it, and you just see him, and you're like, okay, this stuff exists. We don't need to do origin stories for all this because we know all this shit.
And I don't think it is. Yeah, it looked like, because they showed, who is it? Nathan Fillion is like in the movie.
The lantern guy. The dude with the bowl cut.
Yeah. Like there's clearly other heroes who are already established.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yes.
I'm so tired of what Marvel kind of burnt me out on, which is like, hey, if you're willing, you can stay for all the movies, and it's this really cool culmination up to Endgame. That's fine. I don't really fucking want to do that anymore. I did it the one time. Just put the fucking heroes in the movie. Like, stop trying to tease me and do the end credits thing is showing one more character in the next. I'm like, I don't care. You can just put them in this movie. I like that the trailer was like, yep, there's other people.
We got a lot going on.
There's a lot happening. I was a fan of that, actually, in saying, it feels like I don't want to have, I would rather my superhero movies actually kind of just let me be like a dumb audience member and just be like, whatever, I'm here. Yeah, like I'm just here to have a good time.
Because that's kind of what they are. And if you have the few that stand above, or like they have the really emotional moments or a really insane story, like Captain America: Civil War is one of my favorite Marvel movies because it actually has like a deep, dark story and the clash of the heroes. That one's one of the best ones. You should watch that one. I never saw that. But so I thought it was really cool that they had everybody in there. They have Superman and fucking Lois Lane making out like 4 times in the trailer. It's so funny. Like when they're flying up and making out, and then they're like on the porch making out, and like all this stuff going on.
Nice.
So yeah, the slow-mo is super cool. Lex Luthor is super cool. I think in general, like this, like I said, this is the most excited I've been for like a superhero movie trailer.
What is it rated? Do we know what it's rated?
It's probably 13.
I need to see Superman hang dong.
You need to see him hang dong. I was about to say, what did you just say?
Fun fact, and more reason to go see Nosferatu. You get to see vampire dong.
Does it look like normal dong?
It's only on screens for so long, and it's a pretty jarring, like, oh, dick. Like there's just a lot happening in the moment when you see it that you're like, it's kind of a scary moment, like in general, where you're like, holy fuck, and then your eyes are just gonna be like,
a dong.
Oh my god, like holy shit. I was like in the moment of the theater, I was like, oh, this is so tense, and as it happened, I just started laughing, and I was like, what the fuck?
That does seem like it might be a little jarring in that kind of movie. You're like, whoa, what?
Vampire peen, what are we doing?
It's a little bold move there,
but it was pretty funny. It got it. I laughed. And I think it made it better for it. So,
well, as long as you enjoyed it, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. If Superman was able to go out there, and I got full.
Problem is,
might bump it up a point.
The problem is, if you get Superman loads, they just kill you. You know, they just shoot right through you. Yeah, that's something I'm surprised they haven't.
I don't need to see the ejaculate. I just want proof that maybe he's packing. All right, if he's Superman, show me.
That goes into some of the boys shit. Where like, I'm surprised they haven't had Homelander fuck somebody and like shoot his cum through their head.
Good lord. Jesus Christ.
Because that's always been something that they've talked about before. You're like, yo, Superman can't have babies with normal humans. It'll just fucking, the baby will kill him. Kind of like the vampire thing in Twilight, where like the baby's like killing her.
Yeah, that's fair.
But trailer's dope. I'm super excited for it. Did it say it was coming out this year? I don't remember. Or was it 2026?
I just kind of doubt. Even if it said this year, it's like, maybe it's going to get pushed out.
We could go over this really quick. Do you think GTA 6 is coming out this year? They've already delayed it so many times, and it seems like everybody is really, like, they seem pretty, like Take-Two is releasing their games away from GTA 6, which is Take-Two owns Rockstar.
They're part
right?
of it, yeah.
Yes, and they're so they would know better than anybody, and they're releasing their other games that are coming out this year away from GTA 6. So that I would assume that would make it more likely that it's not getting delayed, and they're like committed to coming out.
I think if you go back to the track record, I think GTA 5 may have been delayed. Maybe.
I think every video game gets delayed.
Pretty much, yeah. For sure, Red Dead 2 got delayed.
Yeah.
And I'm the kind of person I went back and like I'll go look up the dates of when trailers came out and then when they pushed it out to try to calculate when it's going to happen now. Yeah. It's like, I think they did the first trailer for Red Dead, and then there was about a year in between, and they dropped another trailer. We've already been over a year since the first trailer, and there hasn't been anything else, but there will be for sure there's a trailer coming in the next few months, I'd say.
They have already delayed it a couple times too.
Yeah.
So that's something to take in consideration also.
I just don't know. My question always is like people, well, I think a lot of people are like, oh, I told you it got delayed. Or like everyone wants to be like, I called it. It got
They all get delayed.
They all get delayed pretty much indefinitely. Every game nowadays, depending on the budget. But if you're a AAA game, you're probably getting delayed. I just don't get why the companies still feel the need to shoehorn themselves into a date in general.
Yeah.
Stop it. We've learned our lesson. Everyone gets it. Games are taking a while. They cost a lot.
Takes so much
longer. The crunch
now.
Involved in the tech industry already is pretty prevalently known how bad it is for like game developers. Don't fucking put a date on it if you know, like, I want to know what the consensus is after like a meeting happens in Rockstar and they're like, we figured it out. This is the date it's coming out. Immediately is everyone like, oh fuck. Because there's got to be a consent, like a majority. Everyone who's actually working on it has a very immediate, like, we're good or we're fucked.
Yeah.
And I feel like all of them are always like, we are fucked. Yeah. What do we do? And then it's just like scraping everything together.
They just need to figure out the system better because it's just such a shit show now, whether it comes from the push and it comes to the way they release games and build hype and like how they do it. Like the whole thing is just dumb because I don't know. It's bass backwards. It's just bullshit.
And some games learned in the wrong ways were like Cyberpunk worked because they made so much fucking money off of a shit product that it's working still. Like,
well, and they made it good.
But that's the difference. None of these
Sky.
But that's 2 games. And if you ask me, those are the only 2 games that have redeemed their failed launch. Outside of that,
Sea of Thieves is pretty good too.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them, but those are definitely the biggest. And that's been happening more and more, which is something that I was going to bring up. It's annoying because they're releasing broken games that should be awesome when they release, and then they end up making them good and they're great like a year later. Yes. And it's like, okay. So I never played Cyberpunk because of that, because I couldn't play it on my Xbox. It's great now. I'm not going back to play it anytime soon. Like, it's just...
Well, you should.
I know. There's a lot that I should do. We just got 6 movies that I got to watch now, too, so I'm fucking...
Because that's... Yeah, I've been like... I could talk about Cyberpunk like I talk about movies. That game and that specifically, that game in the way I play it.
I've watched hours of gameplay.
I play it like I'm in a movie where like I get in my car. The game was so shitty at the start, I didn't drive vehicles because the driving was bad, and it just work. The faster you went, the worse the game ran. So it was like, don't go fast, don't drive fast. I was like, this is dumb. I never drove. 4 years later, the game is all these patches, updates, massive overhauls. You go back in, I drive a car for the first time. Immediately, I was like, why the fuck didn't they do this when it launched? Because it was like, oh, it's fun. Oh, you can drive. Every car feels different. Sports cars are sports cars. Shitty cars are shitty cars. You can customize the colors on the fly, and it does a cool little...
On the fly?
Dude, it does a glitchy animation because it's all cyberpunk stuff.
Yeah, so it does like a wave over it.
Yeah, it does like a... And in real time...
That's sick.
Immediately it changes it, and you can do like a color wheel for your own colors, or you go explore and there's like unique skins on cars you can just scan and then download, like buy them on the fly using your like scanning.
God, I'm so excited for GTA because I remember having those feelings. Like, you're already telling me other updates that they made to Cyberpunk that makes it more modern, but like I remember having that feeling playing GTA when I was driving around, and I'm like, this is so fucking cool. I feel like I'm in this world. I got my dope little Audi because they have like the Audi in GTA, driving it around.
I've been playing
customize it, go to the shop.
I've been playing it more, and it's one of the few games now.
Cyberpunk?
Yeah, where I play it and I'm like, this is GTA-esque now, like in the ways that it should be.
Yeah.
I hop in a car, I turn the radio on. I go through I glide through the stations to find the song I like. Boom, hit it. Just driving. It's just a sick view in the city. The music's bumping.
Whether you got rain or it's like nice and sunny.
Dude, it's just so
cool looking.
sick looking everywhere. And I'm like, this is so cool. Accidentally hit a pedestrian. Fuck.
Shit.
Cops are on me. All right, sure. Cops on motorcycles coming. Deal. I slam my brakes. Dude can't stop fast enough. Head first over my car. See ya. Drive over him on my way out. And I do that for the next 20 minutes. Just
driving,
getting cops on me, doing dumb bullshit, just fucking around. And I'm like, wow, I never once did this when I first played it. And this game is actually doing what they wanted it to.
It was completely game breaking for me because I was playing it on an Xbox One. Were you playing it on an S or a 1X?
At the time, it was a 1X. So
you were playing on a 1X?
Yeah, that was the best thing you could play it on, but still, console-wise, but still not that good.
Yeah, I was playing on an Xbox, so it literally didn't work. I remember I got like an hour in after the intro because I did corporate, and I was like up in the tower, met like the main guy that's like your buddy. Came around, and I got like this quest in an alley, and I kept trying to talk to the guy, and it was kind of weird because it looked cyberpunky, but it would glitch out of my screen and like turn into squares. And I would reset it. I tried updating it. I tried uninstalling it, and I would just always be stuck at that, and I couldn't play it. I got a refund.
There were so many times at the beginning of the game when it launched that I played. I still beat the game at the start, but there were so many times, like you just said, where things would glitch, and I genuinely didn't know if this was like, is this in the game supposed to be like this, or is it not? Is it an actual bug?
Yeah.
And thank God now everything works just like. I used to cringe when I would boot the game up. I remember just being like, I'm just playing this because I spent money on it, and I'm pissed off.
I got the refund because you know how they did the refunds for everybody because it literally didn't work.
I held out for whatever reason. I just said, fuck it. I'm going to hold out. Kind of still worked. I didn't have to like do anything. I didn't have to. It wouldn't have mattered. You would have gotten your money back. But I held out, and then the DLC coming out with it, just like you can tell they knew what the fuck they were doing.
I think I'm going to get a PS5 Pro.
Nice.
I'm not entirely sure because I'm an Xbox guy and I love Xbox, but like I want the PS5 games, the PlayStation or the PlayStation games.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That'll. I don't know when that's supposed to come out. Is it out? Kind of funny he was giving one away. It might already be out.
I think it is.
Yeah, did it come out in the fall? I don't know. I'm so out of the loop on that shit now because I'm just like I just can't. It's $700 too, by the way, which is fucking insane. But in the next month or two, I'm planning to buy one, and then I'm gonna hopefully be diving back into the games, and we can talk about games a little bit more on here because I don't even have a console to play shit on right now. So
you definitely, I'll be hyped for that, and I will. Yeah, I'll be the guy I'll just start shoving shit.
I have
your
to.
Throat.
I got to be ready for GTA 6 if it actually comes out, and I'm getting the best shit I can play that on.
Because that's gonna be a cultural shift in gaming. That's what GTA has become. GTA 5 changed like the playing field for every game. GTA 6 is going to change everything.
I was listening to Sacred Symbols, which is Colin Moriarty's podcast, the PlayStation one, and they were talking about stuff because they did like their most anticipated games of 2025, and obviously GTA 6 is one of them. And Chris Reagan, one of the dudes on the podcast, was like, I wouldn't be surprised if like you can upload, like you can use your phone and upload your own social media posts, and they upload straight to the game, and like you have this whole world. Like I think it's going to be immersive and like different and changing, like unlike like things that you don't think of, stuff that hasn't been seen in games.
That's the level of immersion that I'm curious to see what they push. Rockstar is kind of the developer at the forefront to be like, we make the calls.
They got the money. They got the budget. They got the name.
We have everything. They make the most expensive game. They set the budget for every other game. They make the most expensive games, bar none. Nobody else can top them because they can't.
GTA is the highest grossing IP in existence of all things. GTA 5.
It's the highest selling piece of entertainment. In history.
Exactly.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, they're estimating that GTA 6 will make like $3 billion in its first year of release or something like that.
Yeah. You're right. It'll be the weird things like, is there an in-game social media that's actually used and people are doing stuff with it?
You can become an influencer.
Yeah, like
it's the metaverse.
Dude, like for real though, like that is what we're pushing towards. I was talking about it with Soto one time and we were like what if there's a way, I don't know the logics of this or how real it could be, but like a stock market. Like in the game, or a way to create, cryptocurrency somehow through the, like just weird shit like that, where it's like, there's monetary value out of this now. Yeah. That's where I'm like, fuck, I don't know how I feel about that.
You're going to have a whole economy within the game.
But GTA is the game that will be Rockstar will be the people to be like, we're going to dip our toe in the water.
And I love that it's in Miami. Miami's so perfect for a
it's gonna be
GTA
so sick,
game.
though.
I hope they don't hold back on any of their GTA shit for PC stuff.
No,
like
they never have and they never will.
Yeah.
It's the only
It's also been a fucking decade. Didn't GTA 5 come out in 2012? It's been
13 maybe or something.
So it's been 12 or 13 years since it came out.
And there's always, ever since games existed and ever since the first Grand Theft Auto existed, there's always going to be an article somewhere about how this game is leading to the cause of shootings and violence and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, look, I can't sit here and tell you that that's false. But what I can tell you is that whoever your child is, you need to be a better parent to. I am a perfectly functioning human who has seen and done things in games that are obscene.
Yeah.
Obscene. Grotesque.
Yeah.
So gross. But never once in my life have I ever I'm like, I don't know, you know me pretty well. I'm the least violent person, I would think.
Unless
like,
you're a Hoop Fest.
No, I'm not.
I'm
vocal,
just kidding.
Emotional, but violent is one thing I'm not. I don't.
Me too.
I don't get like that. It's not me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I just so fucking.
I don't even mean by that stuff though. I don't mean like. I mean like. So they got rid of Gay Tony because it wasn't PC, and they made him just Tony or something like that. Like they didn't call him Gay Tony anymore. So I'm hoping that they can still make it as funny and make actual jokes. And I think the PC stuff is kind of dying down a little bit. I don't think people are as offended and as butthurt about stuff as it used to be. And it's like kind of comedy's making a comeback. Well, so I'm just hoping it's funny and it really still has the feel of GTA.
It will.
It's fucking awesome.
I think that's the last thing I'm actually worried about.
I was gonna say it's not something I'm legitimately worried about. It's just something that I've thought about. I'm like, I wonder if they're gonna tame themselves a little bit.
Even with Red Dead, very different time period. But it's still doing a highly satirical version of the Wild West at times. Yeah. And there's definitely stuff in the game where I'm like, that is woo! like there's missions where you go out and you're going down into the oil fields with the Native Americans to take back their land. Dope. That's cool. But at the same time, you can also go to a movie theater and watch a movie on their screens that is like the single most racist thing on purpose. Because the people who are going to watch the movies are probably uppity, rich white people.
There was movies in 1900?
Like just pictures, like straight up like drawings that they flash on screen.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird.
So it's like you can go in and you can watch some. But
God, I need to get into Red Dead 2.
Dude, fuck. They're so funny. They're super. It's like all of these are written by rich ass white dudes on purpose because that's the whole reason. Like that's the thing. You wouldn't have a story being put on the Hollywood screen about 12 Years a Slave.
How are you?
It wouldn't happen.
How are you feeling about the new Witcher trailer? I know it doesn't show too much, but
yeah,
because you're a Witcher guy.
Yeah,
I haven't played any of them.
Yeah, I love The Witcher.
Because that's what's her name? Ciri.
Yes.
So Ciri's a Witcher now.
Yeah. Well, so one of the endings was that.
There's different endings.
There's multiple endings.
Her becoming a Witcher. Does Geralt die? Geralt. How do you say his name?
Geralt.
Geralt. Does he die?
No. You hear his voice in that trailer.
Oh, really?
It's at the end.
Let's see. I don't know enough about it to really even.
But they've said I read an interview that the game director did right after, where they usually just give very little bit of
more than the trailer just says.
Yeah, a little bit more. And they spoke about how it's Ciri's story now. I think that's a great idea. Geralt's story is
especially this far separated. Yeah,
it's Geralt is done. The Witcher 3 is his third game. So to anyone who hopped on. You can go play the other two. You don't need more. That's on you. But Witcher 3 alone, you can play. I never played the other two.
Oh, really?
It's amazing. I still don't need to play the other two to even understand, this is good.
When did the first one come out?
A while back. It's kind of old. I don't really know the exact date, but they're not they're kind of older games.
There's too much shit, man.
Yeah.
Too much shit.
But, fuck, what was I saying?
You're just talking about what you think about it.
Yeah, Geralt's going to be in it, they said, but just I think he'll probably be like the wise sage kind of older man who just probably gives Ciri advice, kind of. She
was kind of getting her ass whooped. Also, I love the theme of that trailer, by the way, of her
it's
like
very
trying
Witcher.
Yeah, is it really?
That is the Witcher. That's
just humanity being evil.
Every monster quest in The Witcher is you show up. There's a little village of people, and they go, my daughter walked out into the woods and she hasn't come back. I don't know what to do. But we know there's a monster out there. Please go look for her. And you're like, okay. There's always every monster in The Witcher has like a reason that they exist, kind of. Okay. And usually all in the game, at least, all the quests, sometimes it's just a straight up monster and you are there to kill it. But a lot of times it's not just a monster. It could be someone who's cursed and turned into the monster. Yeah. And you don't know that until you talk to them.
I remember seeing that in the show.
And that's exactly. It's good that they're keying in on that whole thing. Ciri shows up. She's trying to play it off and be undercover to save the girl because they're actually going to sacrifice the girl. Yeah, thinking that that's what keeps them safe. Yeah. No, that's such a classic Witcher quest. Oh, we have to sacrifice the virgin girl. Well, that's just what the gods tell us. We've done it forever, and we've always done fine, but it's like, oh, what if you don't? And they're like, oh, well, famine and blah, this and that. And it's like, you get the Witcher to come in, they do the dirty work. They go further enough into actually dealing with the monsters and killing them if they think that's the case. But A lot of the quests in The Witcher end with you, like, you have the choice. You can let the monster go, maybe. And then you can even go back to the village and you can choose whether to tell them the truth or not. And it's like all the quest lines deal with that line of like, what do you want to tell people with what you know? Because you always know like the full story.
That has gotten me the most interested I've ever been in The Witcher, because I thought The Witcher was just kind of an open world. You got a little bit of supernatural powers and you kill monsters. I did not. That's dope. I mean, it is, but that is a dynamic that makes it kind of stand out.
And every quest line in The Witcher is known for being very well thought out, very well written, having multiple like ways you can think about it, and it's never black and white.
See, that's dope. And that's why so I guess I didn't know that was like, obviously I didn't, because that's what I'm saying right now. But and so in that trailer, when they get back and she let the girl go and they come back and they just killed her, I'm like,
you're like, what the fuck?
That's fucked.
That's a classic. Not that exact thing has happened, but things like that have happened where you go out and you're like, yeah, we did it. Meanwhile, back at the village, when you come back to get your reward for taking care of the problem and thinking like, oh, I saved everyone and I got to keep the person alive. You come back, you find out they still killed her. And you're like, what the? You're like, I just took care of it. And they're like, well, I don't know. We didn't have the right feeling. And you're like, you idiots. Like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, being a Witcher, man. Like you get the short end of the stick 9 times out of 10 and nobody's going to give you credit. And when they do give you credit, it's for being an asshole. Even though you know I saved it, like probably everyone here. Like, but you can't. They don't give a fuck. You're a freak. You're a mutant.
Might have to dive into that because I could play that on my Xbox.
So good. Oh, it's so good.
We're kind of wrapping up a little bit, but one more video game thing I want to ask you about. What do you think about Intergalactic? The Naughty Dog game.
Indifferent right now.
It's not. They didn't show us much, so it's hard to really have much of an opinion.
I struggle with cinematic trailers because I'm like, it's just a proof of concept, really. To be like, here, we have a thing.
That one was in game, wasn't it? Her walking through the ship and then going down and fighting the thing. I think it was in game.
I'd have to rewatch. It could have,
which is still cinematic because it's a cutscene in the game.
Yeah, like it would have been a cutscene,
but it's in engine in game. I think it was.
I think it looked fine. As someone who doesn't even like have a PlayStation, it is hard to be like.
That's true.
I doubt I play it, but no, it looked fine.
Is it gonna be Souls-like when she comes down with her fucking space sword and like jumps and like the combat looks different than any other Naughty Dog game I've seen though, which is pretty exciting.
I wouldn't expect a Souls-like. I just think that's kind of a bane of a game's existence.
And there's so many. There's so many of them now.
Unless you're Elden Ring, you like. I wouldn't try to be making one of those.
Yeah.
Nobody needs one anymore.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited about it. I thought it looked cool. I love space shit. I love the theme of it.
Once I see more, I'm a big like, hey, these cutscenes look cool, but until you show me gameplay, and not even that anymore in this day and age, it's like until I get my hands on the game and I get to feel that. Because I'm a big like when I first watched the Indiana Jones trailers, I was like, the way he moved looks slow. And
I thought it looked very simple. Yeah.
But as soon as I picked it up and started playing, I went, okay, I'm good. I'm a firm believer in like, you don't know it till you try it. Like video games, especially, it's not a movie or a TV show. You're not watching it. You're playing it. So like, I need to play it. I got to play something. And because I've just been burned too many fucking times by games these days that are so good at selling a very pretty looking product and putting out trailers that, well, yeah, we got footage of the game running for 10 seconds perfectly. That is what we put on screen. Hopefully that happens when we sell this shit. Yeah. And it's just like, no, I don't want that. A game like Balatro on your phone. There's a reason. I bought it, by the way.
I downloaded it.
Nice. Yeah. There's a reason that I am touting this game and like wanting to talk about it because I think it exudes what is a good fun. Like this is a perfect game. There's no bullshit. It's $10 buy-in. Okay. First off, $60 to $70 is average game price. Now again, people would be like, it's just a fucking poker game on your phone. Yeah. I'll tell you, it's got the most thoughtful UI that's been designed on it. Everything is so easy to see and clear cut, and it's not hard to look at. That is a big thing for me. It works perfectly, like it's smooth gameplay, and it hits on everything that a good game needs, where it's like, it's up to you to figure out how to get better. It's in your hands. And once you take a risk within a run, like, I'm going to try and get this thing for more points, and it works, and you're like, you do a hand and it's like, and you're like, holy shit, I'm a genius.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm excited to. I downloaded it, but I haven't started it. So
and if you don't know, it's hard to like describe it when you don't know it, and even harder when I'm like, oh, look at this game, and you don't. I'm like just doing shit, and you're like, what the fuck? But I promise you, every single person that I've told where they're like, I don't know, man, it might not be good. I'm like, no, I don't blame you. You can just give it a try if you want. It's $10. I don't really fucking care if you play it. Every person though, within, I don't know, a certain amount of time comes back and they go, I just played Balatro for like till 4 a.m. last night. I couldn't stop. And I'm like, it's addicting, dude. It is literally an addiction that like takes over, but it's so good.
So we'll finish up. I got pissed like a racehorse. So we'll finish up here with doing a quick overview of Transformers 1 because that was like the only movie that I watched over the break. Just randomly out of nowhere. Dude, so you saw the trailer. You haven't seen this though, right?
Huh.
Transformers 1?
Oh, no, not yeah, like the new.
Yeah.
Is it animated?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, and it's called Transformers 1. It's Chris Hemsworth and I forget who the co-star is, the guy who plays Megatron. And I knew a little bit. I knew that people liked it and that was pretty good from listening to Jeremy Jahns, but I was like, dude, this movie is fucking awesome. I had such a good time watching this movie, and I remember watching that first trailer where they get thrown in prison and they're sitting next to each other and they're like bantering and they're like making jokey, quippy lines to each other. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This seems weird. But it starts out like that, and it actually it builds the world of Cybertron really well. And I don't know like Transformers lore. I ended up watching video breakdowns about it and learning about the different robots that are in the movie because I won't spoil stuff, I guess, in case you do ever watch it. But the story that they create and the world that they set up and how they make Optimus Prime and Megatron fighting each other and like how they get their powers and how they get bigger and become what they are in the future and setting it up for the sequels in this. I'm so excited about this fucking universe. But it was just so surprising after watching that first trailer because I thought it was just going to be some quippy, weird, stupid, ulterior version of this shit.
Yeah.
And
I didn't really know what it was. I guess.
It was weird from that first trailer, but the second trailer ended up being dope. The action is fucking sick.
Nice.
Them turning into robots and the way that they fight, turning into vehicles and the way that they fight. Megatron getting his giant gun, Optimus getting his axes. And I'm like, okay, this is pretty dope. Because it gets like a lot serious and they turn into different characters when they get, they're all missing their transforming cog. Apparently so they're like, they have the minor robots that have to like mine Energon and they're all missing their transforming cogs, and the Transformers with their transforming cogs like rule over them because they're bigger and stronger and can transform and all this shit. Whoa. And it's kind of about them getting their cogs and then Optimus Prime becoming a Prime and Megatron becoming the leader of the Decepticons and showing all the old robots in it and like how they come to power and how they go about taking down the big baddie in it. Not even the big baddie, because that was cool too. They did a really good job of laying down the foundation of the other baddies in it too.
End credit scene.
Yeah. And so I was like, this is fucking, I had such a good time watching. I was like sitting up, I was at the end of the movie, I was sitting crisscross applesauce on my couch and like sitting straight up. I was like, dude, let's go. This is fucking hype. I was like, I was having such a good time. So that movie was a surprise one. Kind of a surprise because I knew that people liked it and they said that it was good, but like I liked it even more than it seemed like those people had set my expectations at.
Nice.
So I'd recommend watching that. I don't know if that's even something that you would like, but it was
potentially. But
it was fun. It's actually kind of long. It's like 2 hours. It's a little over 2 hours, I think. So it's kind of long, so that might be a little tougher. But yeah, that shit was fucking awesome.
Nice.
But again, that's pretty much all that I did over the break. I'm sure we'll have more stories to tell next week, but I'm gonna piss my pants. So we're going to shut this shit down. Everybody, thanks for coming back to the Read Reviews podcast after our little winter break. I think we'll be having some more guests, and I will definitely be watching some more movies because I've been slacking. I got to reactivate my AMC pass now that the new year's starting, so I'll be ready to go. Yeah. Any last thoughts, Cody?
No.
Just a big, tired yawn.
Just want some fucking Taco Bell.
Yeah, I'm about to get some Red Robin. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming by. Like, subscribe. All that fun stuff. Comment. Let me know what you've been watching. Let me know what you did over the break. And we'll be back weekly now. Thanks.
Shaboopy.
Is that what you said when we got in?